Hello lovely people, and welcome to my bedroom at my mother's house where I'm currently in lockdown and have been for 3 weeks nearly. Yeah, crazy times we're living in at the moment, scary times. I hope everyone is well and keeping safe and washing their hands and, you know, just making the best of a very weird situation. Anyway, it's been a while since I sat down to film a video. I feel like Vlogmas killed me. No, that's a terrible phrasing, but like I was working really hard flat out on Vlogmas, and then it ended and I kind of didn't want to do anything. So I have filmed videos. I filmed my January favourites and I filmed every book I read in 2019, which is 2 videos, but they haven't gone online because I didn't want to edit them. However, I will be posting every book I read in 2019, and if you'd like to see my January favourites, let me know and I'll get that edited and online for you. But today's video is March favourites. Let's get into it. So yeah, this video feels like a really weird one to film. The beginning of March feels like it was a really long time ago. Like March kind of feels like it was split in half, like the time before when coronavirus didn't feel like as much of a threat, or we weren't taking it seriously enough, to now where we're in lockdown and it's very much a real threat. And sorry if you can hear Audrey. It's just a really strange video to be filming. But yeah, I can't remember anything that I liked from the beginning of the month, like at all. It just feels like such a long time ago. Anyway, the first product I want to talk about is the Rimmel London Salon Pro Nail Varnish in the shade Ultraviolet. Now, I'm not really on one for pastel colours, and I'm not really one for purples either. My skin tone is so sort of like pasty but pink that when I wear pastels they just don't really suit me, I don't think. But this has got like a hint of pink to it, so it just looks really pretty and really summery. And in the past couple of weeks in the UK we've had such really nice summery springtime weather, so I've kind of embraced it that way. But yeah, this is just a really nice nail varnish. I really like it. It's a pretty colour, and these have a decent formulation. Like, it's quite plump, the finish, and it lasts a reasonable amount of time. I'm so sorry, this house is like, my mum lives in a tiny cottage in the middle of nowhere, so if you can hear like dogs barking and trucks going past and my mum on the phone and the dog, it's because this house is just, it's like a doll's house. It's beautiful but very small, and there's a car starting outside. Anyway, my next favourite and kind of my last beauty favourite is the Aveeno Skin Relief Moisturising Lotion. Now, I have OCD. I don't like mentioning that I have OCD, but it feels pertinent at the moment. With the current advice to be washing your hands, obviously that has been quite triggering for me, and my hands have been in an absolute state. They're not too bad at the moment, although you can see that they're all wrinkled and shriveled here, and then the bottom of this finger is split. But basically I was washing my hands to the point of bleeding, and I couldn't really find anything that was helping. And then I tried this. I think I picked this up just kind of on a whim, and it's just been amazing. So it's formulated with a prebiotic triple oat complex and shea butter. It really is a rich moisturizer, but it's really lightweight and it absorbs almost instantly. The thing I don't like is with a lot of intense hand creams, they are really thick and really greasy and you can't do anything, and I kind of hate having that feeling on my hands anyway. But this has been a total lifesaver. If you can still get hold of it and you've been struggling the same way, I would suggest it, but as from what I could see, it was sold out everywhere for a while. In terms of like beauty favourites, that's kind of it. I don't really have anything else. This month has been utterly bizarre. So yeah, this is kind of one of the first days I've worn makeup, and I have to say I'm feeling it. I also didn't dye my hair for ages and had really bad roots. I've just kind of gone savage a bit, but I'm back to normal now. Anyway, in terms of entertainment favourites, I kind of think that entertainment suggestions at the moment are kind of the greatest currency, because like, no one wants to be bored at home. People are just like crying out for things to do. So this is kind of some of the things that I've been enjoying for the last month. And the first one is, to no one's surprise, Tiger King on Netflix. Oh my god, what a fucking shit show that is. Oh my god, it's completely compulsive viewing, like it's totally addictive, but I can't tell you what's happening at any point. It is utterly bizarre. Essentially, it's about Joe Exotic, the titular Tiger King, who owns a very illegal, by the looks of it, zoo in Oklahoma, and he breeds big cats like tigers, and it's basically a feud between him and this lady in Florida, Carol Baskin, who may or may not have killed and fed her ex-husband 2 tigers. And she runs a cat sanctuary in Florida, but she began as a big cat breeder, and it's essentially their feud. And Joe hires someone to kill her and now is in prison. It is the weirdest story. I would say if you're quite sensitive to like animal cruelty, which I can be, I wouldn't watch it because there's some things that are really difficult to watch. It's just fucking batshit crazy, but it is compulsive. You cannot look away. But yeah, I have enjoyed that. I also listened to the podcast Joe Exotic, which is a Wondery podcast, which is essentially the same story. Very interesting, but they do talk to both sides, so it has maybe a more balanced view. I think it goes into a bit more detail, but it's just fucking bizarre. It's such a weird story. Just realised looking back at the list I have on my phone that most of these are podcasts, and one podcast I absolutely adored was Dying for Sex, which is another Wondery one. All of these are Wondery ones. I love them. I just think they're the best. And Dying for Sex is basically about Nikki and Molly, and they are best friends, and Molly has stage 4 breast cancer. It's terminal, and it's essentially how once she is diagnosed with that, she starts having all these really wild sex adventures, and it's them talking about these mad sex escapades, and it's so interesting. But I think the thing that I like most about it is just this amazing friendship they have. They just really, really love each other, and it's so lovely. And I totally cried in the last episode. I won't spoil it, but it's just such a great, very like happy, positive, but also very sad podcast. The next podcast I listened to and absolutely loved, it only finished this week, was The Dating Game Killer, which is about the serial killer Rodney Alcala, who actually appeared on The Dating Game, which was kind of like a TV show similar to Blind Date in America in like the 70s, and it's essentially how he operated in California and New York in sort of the late 70s and 80s, and it's about the different cases and the different murders that he committed, and also the case that finally got him convicted, which was the Robin Samso murder. And it's so interesting, and there's part of me that really doesn't like the fact that I am so fascinated by true crime. I'm such a ghoul. I feel like it kind of profiteers on people's misery, but in the same breath I also know that I'm not alone in this, so I feel less bad for it. But it's so fascinating. It's hideous and awful, like the crimes he commits are terrible, but they're so interesting as well. But it's very well done in that there is a main narrator who gives the outline of the story, and then there is another narrator who sort of goes deeper into like the actual characters. They're not characters, they were real people, but you know what I mean. It's just really well done. My next favourite is the TV show Celebs Go Dating. Now, before I get into this, I feel like I should explain myself, because I love reality TV. I even love constructed reality TV like Made in Chelsea, but I haven't watched any of them in such a long time because it's such a big time commitment because it's on every night. However, I was at my sister's, and this feels like it was a long time ago, and she was watching Celebs Go Dating, and I really got into it, and then I watched all of the series that are currently on all 4, and there's 8 of them, and I absolutely love it. I love the whole premise. It's ridiculous. I absolutely adore Tom, who is the receptionist at the dating agency. He is an absolute treasure, and I adore him, and I truly believe he is the reason I've watched every season. It's so ridiculous, it's so bitchy, it's so funny, it's kind of like pure car crash television, but it's just, oh, it's so good. So my last sort of TV favourite is a joint favourite. So it's Disney Plus, which is amazing, and I would strongly recommend you get it if you haven't got it yet, because it's so good. But because of Disney Plus, Coco. So I watched Coco about 2 weeks ago, and I've watched it a couple of times since. Now, I don't really have the attention span for films. Like, I will watch something for 45 minutes and then I have to do something else. Unless I'm like doing something at the same time, then I can watch something for hours. But if I'm doing nothing but watching a film, I can't watch them really. But I absolutely adored Coco so much. I've watched it like 3 times. It's so lovely. Like, the story is just beautiful. The music is amazing and it's just so lovely. The first time I watched it I cried loads. I've watched it since and haven't cried as much, but yeah, the Disney Plus app is so good. I've been watching The Simpsons mostly, also the Goofy movies, and I'm so glad an extremely Goofy movie is on there, because I remembered that from being a kid. Like, I remember that film, but there was like no sign of it online, so I didn't know if that had been like a fever dream I'd had. But I'm really glad it's there. In terms of book favourites, I don't really have any this month. I haven't really read much this year at all. I think I've read like maybe 2 books, which is shocking, but in fairness, one of them was Riders by Julie Cooper, and that is about that thick. And the other one was Before the Coffee Gets Cold by, I think it's Toshikazu Yamaguchi. That could be wrong and I'm sorry if it is. Which I didn't love. I love the concept of the story, but it was only about that thick and it took me a really long time to read. I just found it really easy to put down and then not pick back up again. In terms of music favourites, there's a couple. No one will be surprised that I loved the 2 new Biffy releases, Instant History and End Of. I prefer End Of the 2, but I did like Instant History a lot, and I did like listen to it being played on Radio 1 for the first time. I really did like that. I think that's everything for my March favourites. So let me know what your favourites were. I hope everyone is keeping safe and well and looking after themselves. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please like and subscribe and ring the bell for post notifications, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves and keep yourselves safe. Bye guys.